Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm with Lauren C and she is also a blogger. You can find her under astyleedit on social media. We have decided to do a video together just because we've both got the same interests and we both like fashion and style and makeup and all things involved in that. We're going to be doing a video today just talking about our foundations that we use currently and also what we've used in the past, and just sort of reviewing them just to let you know what we think of them and what we recommend and what we might not recommend. And we just thought that it would be a really good idea to do a video together. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my oldest foundation just because it was my favourite foundation. It's actually the Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation. I use this in shade beige and that's number 54. This has literally been my favourite foundation. Have you used this one before?
No, I did tell you earlier actually that I've tried it. I tried it on the back of my hand in Superdrug or somewhere, and it was starting to burn, like really tingly on the back of my hand, so I didn't even bother trying it to put it on my face. I just thought I didn't really want to.
Well, I've literally used this for I can't even tell you how many years because I think it's under £10. And
they're normally on like 3 for 2 as well, aren't they, in Boots?
Yeah, yeah. And I've always just used it because it's not expensive, so if I needed to use more of it or for whatever reason, I found that it was quite a good foundation to build up, but it also looked quite natural as well, so it was quite a good coverage but not like big fat cake on your face. So yeah, this is literally my favourite foundation. If I was going to rebuy a foundation, like if I was running out or I needed to buy it, I know that I could buy this and it would be, I would definitely like it. I think I've probably had this for I've rebought this at least 3-4 times because it's cheap, so it's not like, yeah, I don't mind rebuying. I will rebuy a foundation, but I don't, I like to try new ones, but I know that this one's good, so I would definitely rebuy it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about a Charlotte Tilbury foundation, and it's the Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfect Skin Foundation in SPF 15, and I use this in the shade 8 medium. This has actually run out. I have used this, and it really depends on what my skin was doing on that particular day of wearing this one. If my skin was sort of quite oily, this didn't really do much for me. It was because it is quite oily. I wouldn't say oily, but it is.
Does it make your face oily after you've put it on?
I don't really know. It's like because I think it's whatever they put in to make a foundation luminous. Gives you that sort of dewy.
Yeah, that is
dewiness.
Yeah.
So depending on what my skin's doing, for me personally, I think this would be better in winter if I didn't need much of a coverage, much of a heavy coverage. But the colour match with the Charlotte Tilbury are definitely, out of all the foundations I've tried, probably my favourite at getting the colour right for my skin. Okay. I've not rebought this yet, generally because I normally, if I run out of foundation, I'll want to try something else, so I'd never rebuy. I always go for something new. So I don't think I've ever actually bought a foundation twice.
Interesting.
But yeah, I definitely recommend trying this. As I said, it will be different for different skin types.
How much is it?
I think one is more expensive than the other because obviously there's the Magic Foundation. Yeah. I want to say £29. Okay. I'm not too sure, but we'll link all our foundations that we're talking about below. And obviously if the prices are wrong, we do apologise about that. But yeah, we'll link them down below. But yeah, I think that's about £29. And I picked it up in Selfridges.
Okay.
That's that one. Ooh.
So my next foundation is my current favourite full coverage foundation, which I only really wear at the weekend just because I have got like a week foundation and a weekend foundation. And this is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I wear it in shade Warm Beige. I actually bought this from Debenhams in Nottingham, but oh no. Yeah, Debenhams in Nottingham. They only have recently, I believe, started to stock this foundation or more of the shades.
Yeah, because where else did I see a little stand for Too Faced? And I was like, oh, I'm going to go and have a look at the foundation, but they didn't have it because it was really small.
Yeah, they don't stock it everywhere. I did actually think that I'd probably have to buy it online, but I managed to get it in Debenhams, so that was really good. I think, I can't remember how much this is.
I think that's about 29.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's roughly about 29. But it's a foundation that I tried because I'd heard so much about it, and I'd heard that it was a really good foundation, really good coverage, not too like heavy on your skin. So no, I have actually rebought this as well. This is the second one that I've had, but it's really nice on your skin and it blends really well. This is probably a little bit brown, orange, one of the two for my skin at the moment, because this is better when I've got a tan. I have actually got a tan now, to be fair, but when it's like a summer tan, it blends and matches really well. But no, I would keep rebuying this, and I would recommend it. I think they do quite a good range of shades as well, so they're really good at matching.
Yeah, I want to try that one.
Yeah, it's
I definitely
really
think
good.
that's going to be probably the next one that I buy to try.
Yeah, it is a really good foundation, to be fair, and I think I've not heard a bad review about it, to be honest. I think a lot of people that I follow on social media have tried this and they all really like it as well.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend this foundation.
Okay, now next one of mine is going to be another Charlotte Tilbury one, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. Now, to be honest, this foundation I think does exactly what it says. It's very mattifying. It feels, I'm probably not explaining it in the right way, but it's apparently meant to sort of like fill your pores and everything. And the colour match is just perfect. This is actually, again, nearly ran out and it's absolutely filthy. Yeah, I love this foundation. I've not really got that much to say about it.
I've never tried a Charlotte Tilbury foundation, but I would like to try one.
Yeah, and this one is actually a different shade to one before. Maybe I bought it maybe when I had a tan or something. But this is medium in shade 7 that I've been using in this one. And again, I think this one's a little bit more expensive than the first one. I've got a feeling this one might be about 32. I'm not too sure. Again, I picked this up in Selfridges and I've just loved this. You can build it up, and it's great if you just need a little bit of coverage just sort of throughout the day.
Yeah.
And for sort of day-to-day foundation. I've not re-bought this yet, but I definitely sort of will do. Next time I fancy a bit of Charlotte Tilbury in my life. So yeah, that's that, and yeah, I absolutely love it. And I think most foundations have an SPF of 15.
I think they do.
But that's one thing that I always look for in a foundation as I'm getting older, is that it has sort of SPF. But to be honest, I don't think you have to look too much because I think they all do.
Most of them do.
Yeah. So that's that one.
So the next foundation that I'm going to talk about is the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. This is another one that you can just pick up in Boots or Superdrug or Tesco, Asda, anywhere like that. And this is also a foundation that I heard so much about. I think actually most of the foundations that I'm talking about today are ones that I've heard a lot of stories about. People have recommended them or something, so that's why I've bought them. This one is also really good. It's quite, what's the word? When you first put it on your skin, it looks quite dewy and like quite wet looking, but it sinks into your skin really well, and it stays on as well throughout the day, which is really good. I think this is about £10.
Yeah, again, and that's one that's also on
3
for 2, yeah.
And this is in the shade Golden Beige. Again, in fact, there's something that, do you know what I just thought?
What?
I've got these drops that I put into my foundation.
Oh, is it the Body Shop stuff? Oh.
I should have bought that. Anyway. Yeah, so this one is also quite a warm colour, so it looks better when I've got a tan. So it's a little bit too orange for me when I haven't got a tan, because I'm quite pale usually. But it's a really good foundation. As I said, it's quite cheap as well, so it's something that you could, it's not like you're spending a fortune on a foundation. And yeah, I just think this is really good foundation. It's really good value for the money. It lasts throughout the day, as I said, and yeah, I would really recommend this foundation.
And yet, sticking with that, I also tried it, but sort of as I've gotten older, I personally think when it comes to skincare, hair care, foundation, you get what you pay for. I'm not saying that just because something's expensive that it's good, but my preference is sort of the more premium, higher end sort of brands of foundation. Now, if say a year ago someone had said to me, oh, you know, buy this L'Oreal, I'd have said no, I don't like the ones sort of that you just pick up off the shelf. Even though there is quite a wide variety of colours, it's just not something I sort of look for. I kind of just don't want them. I would prefer to go to Charlotte Tilbury or NARS or somewhere like that for my foundation. But I went to a makeup masterclass, and the makeup artist, she highly recommended that, and that was the foundation that we used to actually try and sort of follow what she'd already done makeup wise. So I got to try it like fully myself before buying it, and she said they stopped using MAC, they didn't use sort of higher end brands. That was the foundation that they used on any of their clients. So it was for that reason that I ended up trying that, and I did really like that one. And I did have the bottle with me, but it didn't actually say the shade and stuff on it, because it's sort of wore off. So I don't know what shade I was in. I want to say it might have been 5W.
Yeah, maybe.
Could have been 5W. Because when we looked at this one, they weren't that far apart, were they? So I think 5W might be the shade that I had.
I think that's the thing as well, when you buy a foundation from like Boots or wherever, you can't colour match it. And as much that they've got the little samples, haven't they, underneath, but you're not going to take all your makeup off and just apply a whole face to think, yeah, that matches. It's just, you just have to hope that the shade that you pick up is going to match your skin. So it is a lot more difficult, but I suppose because it's not as expensive, you don't mind as much if you buy it and it's not 100% the right shade.
And you know, one of my like pet hates, when you go to those sort of like shelves and you look for a colour or a product or whatever, and they haven't got any testers in that colour, you ask a member of staff, they do not open another one for you to test it. So obviously people take the testers sometimes, don't they? So there's never an alternative to use, so the only other option is to buy it. Now, you know, £10 not a lot of money. Well, it is a lot of money, but I think any amount of money is a lot of money to waste if you do get the option to try it before. So that's another reason. If there's not a tester or a way of me seeing what it looks like, even if it's just on the back of my hand, I wouldn't really be interested.
No.
And lighting in shops and stuff is very unnatural.
Yeah, it is.
Especially sort of like your MAC stores, Urban Decay, those types of stores, they've got very strong studio lighting. So when you are trying it on in the store and you go outside, it's two different things.
Yeah.
And saying that, when I buy a foundation now, as I said, I prefer to buy a more premium brand. Like I said earlier, not because it's premium, but just, again, that's just my personal option. Not my personal option, my personal preference. I tend to go to the counter and say, I would like to try this foundation. Could you please colour match me, and could you give me a sample of it so I can take it away and have a play with it myself? And while I'm saying that, I'm just going to talk about these two, and these are, I don't know which one is newer than the other, which is the newest one, but this is the Kevyn Aucoin foundation. I will link below, or I'll put in the catchment, the names of the two foundations, because they didn't actually write it on these tester pots. But one of them is like a really, really heavy duty coverage that the guy in Space and Case said that it was very good for. Did he say he uses this for sort of contouring and stuff as well?
Yeah.
That's really good, and I'm wearing some of that now, and I've got the smallest amount in this pot, and I just literally use the back of my nail, and I was able to sort of evenly spread that all over my face. So that's really good, and it's a really, really good coverage. And then this one is, I think this is the one that's the newest foundation. Again, I'll have to put the name of this one below because I'm not actually sure of the full name. And this one's in the shade EF10, and this is the more less coverage than this one. I think that's the right way to say it. Yeah, so this one is absolutely beautiful. It's quite pricey at £52 a bottle, but
what was it?
£52. I think this one is a bit cheaper than that, but yeah, £52 is quite expensive.
That's why it's good that you can take it away and try it.
Yeah,
so that you know you're going to make the
quite.
right decision.
He's given me quite a lot in there. So I do recommend that if you're not sure on foundation, or there's ones that you do like to try, don't be afraid to go into the store and just ask for them to give you some to sort of have a go with yourself. And generally nobody will sort of say no. Don't be frightened to ask.
Because it's one for them to put it on your skin, but actually when you apply it yourself, it might just look totally different.
Yeah.
So it is good to be able to do it yourself.
And I find as well, when they test, when they colour match you in a store or whatever, they always use the flat foundation brushes, and I don't like them. I don't have one.
No, I don't actually either.
I had tried one like once upon a time, but I think it leaves like streaks.
Yeah, like you're just painting.
So I use the I don't even know what to call them, like the
Beauty blender.
No, you know, like the ones that are like spoons. What are they called?
Oh,
have they got a name?
I can't.
They're sort of all the rage at the minute, these
Yeah.
ones. I have no idea what they're called. If any of you know what they're called, please let us know, because
like
we have
a
no
spoon.
idea. Obviously, we are no
Makeup artists.
No, I'm not any Elisa Eldridge, I'm afraid.
No.
So yeah, over to you. Have you got another one you want
So
to talk about?
the last foundation that I'm going to talk about is one that I only bought a week ago today.
Yes,
A week ago today. And this is another one that I'd heard quite a lot about, and somebody was talking about it online, and they weren't just saying, yeah, it's a good foundation, they said it is absolutely amazing. So I was like, well, I need to try it. So we were in Space NK last Sunday, wasn't we?
Can I just ask, sorry, where did you see, who is it that uses that?
It was a girl called Holly Boone that I follow on YouTube.
Right, yeah, she does a lot of music videos, makeup videos, yeah.
And also Sarah Ashcroft, she saw that Holly Boone was using it and she had to go out and buy it, and she also said that it was amazing, so I thought it must be amazing.
I think Hourglass, just the name and like the sort of way that they're set out in the shop and everything, the packaging is very sophisticated.
Yeah. So yeah, it's called the Hourglass Foundation, and I think it's called the Seamless Vanish Foundation Stick or something along those lines. And it basically is just a stick. Oh, it's actually filthy. Actually, before we start filming this video, I twisted it all the way to the top and it fell out, so I was really mad.
And we're both like, oh no, like
it literally was the end of the world. Yeah. So this is another quite expensive foundation, but because I'd heard so much about it, I was prepared to spend the money. So we went into Space NK last Sunday, and I got one of the ladies to colour match me, so I knew that it was going to be the right shade. The one thing that I did think is, because it's a stick, there's no way that you can take it home before to try it.
No.
So they wouldn't be able to like cut a bit of the stick off and give it me.
But well, you know, like in Lush, if you wanted to try some of their soaps, they do it so they could have a way of getting some off in a
I didn't think, to be fair, because I thought it's a stick, they're not going to be able to give me any to take away. But I was really happy with the colour match that the lady did on me, so I had to buy it. So my thoughts on this foundation. So I think it's really good, and it's definitely worth the money, but it depends what you want to get out of it. It's very natural, so I use a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, to blend my foundation, and I literally just had to put like one stripe on each bit of my face.
So do you dampen it with every foundation, or does this one?
With every foundation.
What is that? Because I've heard that people do that, and I don't know whether that's the correct way that you're meant to do it, but doesn't it make your face feel wet?
No, because the sponge isn't like wet, so I usually put it under the tap, literally squeeze and squeeze and squeeze so that it gets full of water, and then I wring it out as tight as I can, and then I just get some like toilet roll or whatever and just squeeze it out, so it's still wet, but it's not like, you can't see any water or you can't see any marks.
It's just like within, so it's
moist. I think it just helps it to blend, helps it blend out the foundation more, so you don't have to like rub with it. You literally can just dab and it sort of just spreads out and blends nicely. So yeah, I literally just put a stroke on each cheek, and on my forehead and on my chin, and literally as you dab in it, it just blends out so nicely. Like, I can't even tell you, I've never experienced this before. But I feel like for the price of it, you have to put quite a lot on, and I don't know if it's going to last very long, as in I don't know how long this is going to last me. I've only had it a week, and I think I've used it like 3 or 4 times maybe, and it's already gone down quite a bit. So I'll have to see. I have used more of it to like build up the foundation, and it is good.
Isn't that what you're wearing today?
Yeah, this is what I'm wearing today, by the way. And this is in the shade Nude. It's quite yellowy, so I didn't realise, because the lighting in Space NK, it's quite natural, but it's not like a natural light. And at the time I thought it looked really good with my skin. It still does match my skin really well, but it's quite yellowy rather than it being like pink or orange. So it's quite a natural colour. And like I said, it blends out really well. I think I've not had it long enough yet to give it like my total like 100% opinion on it, but so far it is good. But I just don't know if it's something that I would repurchase in the future yet, because I don't know if it would last. I don't know, I can't see that lasting longer than a month.
I think a bit longer than a month, but you're not getting anywhere near 6 months with that, I don't think.
Not for the price of it. This is actually £42 for this stick, which is the most expensive foundation that I've ever bought. I didn't ever think that I would spend that much money on a foundation, but I'm glad that I've tried it, because if I hadn't have bought it, I probably would have. It would have just kept going over in my mind that I hadn't bought it.
Yeah.
So no, I might be able to give this a better review in say a month or so after I've used it, and in different ways and all that. So yeah.
And the last one from my foundation, unfortunately this one's getting a bit of a thumbs down from me, and it's the Laura Mercier Oil Free Supreme Foundation, and this one is in the shade Tawny Beige, and there's still quite a lot in there. It's probably to there still. I just don't like this one. Might be because it's oil free. I think at the time my skin might have been quite oily, but it makes your skin really dry, and it's kind of got like a powdery after feel, like powdery residue. You can't really see it, but you can feel it on your skin. Now the colour of it was a good colour match. I've not used it for ages. I can't really remember how well it matched, but I've never
used a foundation that gives like a powder, because I've got really oily skin, and I've never used a foundation that hasn't made my skin oily.
Yeah, let me have a try actually. See if I can remember.
Oh, I can actually tell already.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it looks like creases in all your creases?
Yes, definitely.
Creases in
especially sort of around the eye area and like here.
Yeah.
Because I've got
and your lines. Smile
yeah,
lines.
so you know, do you want to just try it on the back of your hand actually? Just rub it in. Ooh, rub it in.
Oh my gosh, it's
it
like
sort of rubs
stiff.
in like a, but then once it gets going, it kind of rubs a little bit, you know, like a primer feels like.
Yeah, this feels really thick.
Yeah.
Like really heavy. Like it would be really...
I just do not like this foundation at all.
I've never tried an oil-free foundation, so...
No, I haven't. But like I said, I think my skin might have been oily at the time. Is that one oil?
Oil-free?
Oh! Let me try that on the back of my hand.
So the Too Faced Born This Way foundation is also actually oil-free. But that is so different.
That's lovely. That isn't nearly my colour actually.
Yeah.
I might have the same colour.
Actually, let me look at all of them.
I don't know that you can see that on camera. But
Okay.
that's the Born This Way, the Too Faced, and that's really pinky undertone. That
one?
That you can't even see that there,
No.
can you? Ah,
Interesting.
I'm definitely looking forward to trying that one.
I'm quite glad that it is, and that must be why I like it so much, because I've got really oily skin, so when I first put foundation on it's fine, but within like an hour and a half, I can see my skin, I can see the oil coming through on my skin. Yeah, it's awful, but I don't really notice it with that one, so that would explain.
Well, I didn't know it was, and I wouldn't have read into it as, you know, I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't buy a foundation if it was just because of that reason.
Yeah, because I know what this looks like, so I would have just gone and got my colour. So yeah, there must have been a reason why I thought oil free. Maybe I didn't know. Maybe I just made that bit up.
But you see, I thought that when we just tried that then on the back of our hands, it was really like hard to rub in and dry in, which actually I thought maybe that's because it's oil free, but clearly not, because the Born This Way foundation isn't like that, is it?
But to be honest, sort of talking through all those foundations, and some being on the lower end and some being on the much higher end of the scale, price wise, I think we had positive things to say about a lot of them. But there's not, if you had to round it down to either even if that included mine that I've spoken about, or me yours, which would you pick if you could only pick one?
The Born This Way one.
I've not tried that, so that's hard for me, but I would say the Kevin Aquan.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because this is more expensive, I do only wear this, not just for special occasions, but I don't want to just wear this for work every day when I don't need to, which is, at the moment, I'm using the L'Oreal one, but obviously I have got the other two in there, but I use them as and when. To be fair, actually, I don't really wear this one much anymore, just because I've gone on to the L'Oreal one now, but I would recommend it. But yeah, my two foundations that I currently use all the time is the L'Oreal True Match and the Too Faced Born This Way. And then the Hourglass is just in there somewhere. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So I hope that you have found this video interesting, and that you will find it useful in the future when you're wanting to go out and buy a new foundation. It's really useful, I think, to have a good selection of foundations out there that we've been able to review, just to help you guys, and you know, if you're wanting to make a decision in the future, you know that there are some foundations out there that might be more expensive but that are worth spending the money on. So that's the end of the video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I'll be tagging Lauren's social media name down in the down bar below, so that you can go and check her out and also give her a follow. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more of these videos, then make sure you subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, and yeah, we'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
In fast, it'll be like that.